नमस्ते नमस्ते नरसिम्हा।
नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादलाददायिने हिरण्यकाशिपूर्वक्षः शीलटङ्कानकालाय हितो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा बाहे नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा नरसिंहामदिं शरणं प्रपदे तव करकमलवरे नाखाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकाशिपो तानुभृङ्गां केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रह्लाद महाराज प्रह्लाद महाराज प्रह्लाद महाराज जय प्रह्लाद महाराज जय भक्ति विनाश नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय भक्त शिवनि प्रह्लाद महाराज की जय वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सचाय विष्णु भक्ति प्रद देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। Special song. वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सचा विष्णु भक्ति पद देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सचा विष्णु भक्ति पद देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सचा विष्णु भक्ति पद देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः। राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो यही अभिलाषी ये तुम्हारे शरण लोहे तारा वंश पूर्ण हो कृपा करी कर तारे वृंदावन वासी मोरा यही अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास नयने हरिवो सदा युगल रूप राशि यही निवेदन धरो सखीर अनुगत करो सेवाधिकार दिए कर निज दासी दीन कृष्ण दासे को है यही है न मोरा हो श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदाएन वासी यानी कानी च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानी कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्म हत्याधिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणाशन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय वृंदे देवी वृंदे देवी वृंदे देवी जय वृंदे देवी वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सचा विष्णु भक्ति देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सचा विष्णु भक्ति पद देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशव सचा विष्णु भक्ति
6 बजे क्या है महाराज भाषा सॉन्ग बुक है कि नहीं वो गुरु पूजा जाएगा तब लगेगा है वो सामने ही आपके सामने लाइब्रेरी की यहाँ से दिख रहा है You can read.
Yesterday I read the 45th chapter, which is going on in Tamil.
Sansadhanal once more.
Yes, I again once more I sing Sansadhanal. Slow I sing. Should I go fast? संसारदावानललीढलोका त्राणाय कारुण्यघना घनात्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याणगुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दं महाप्रभु कीर्तननृत्यगीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसोरसेना रोमाञ्चकम्पा श्रुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दं श्रीविग्रहाराधननित्यनाना शृङ्गारतान्मन्दिरमार्जनादौ युक्तस्य भक्तांश्च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दं चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसादा स्वादनतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गान् कृत्वैव तृप्तिं भजता सदैव वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दं श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुरलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना प्रतिक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दं निकुञ्जयोनो रतिकेलिसीधै यायलिभिर्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदाक्षादतिबलवशाद् वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दं साक्षात् हरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभुर्या प्रिया एव तस्य वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दं यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य अप्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्स्तुवां तस्य यशास्त्रि सन्ध्यां वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दम् Which chapter I read? Yesterday I read 45th chapter, which is going on. Should I read the same chapter or not? You can go. Chapter 45, text 1, translation. Sukadeva Goswami said, understanding that his parents were becoming aware of his transcendental opulences, the Supreme Personality of Godhead thought that this should not be allowed to happen. Thus he expanded his Yog Maya, which bewilders his devotees. Purport. Translation, text 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, understanding that his parents were becoming aware of his transcendental opulences, the Supreme Personality of Godhead thought that this should not be allowed to happen. Thus he expanded his Yog Maya, which bewilders his devotees. Purport. If Vasudev and Devaki would have seen Krishna as Almighty God, their intense love for him as their son would have been spoiled. Lord Krishna did not want this. Rather, the Lord wanted to enjoy with them the ecstatic love of Vatsalya Rasa, the relationship between parents and children. As Srila Prabhupada often pointed out, although we normally think of God as a Supreme Father, in Krishna consciousness we can enter into Lord's pastime and play the part of his parents, thus intensifying our love for him. Srila Vishwanath Thakur points out that the word jana may be translated here as devotees. As in the verse Diyamanam na grihnanti vinamat sevanam jana. He further explains that jana may also be translated as He further explained that jana may also be translated as parents, since jana is derived from the word jan, which is the causative form. Janayate means to generate or to give birth to. In this sense of the word, as in janani or janako, the term janamohini indicates that Lord was about to expand his internal illusory potency so that Vasudeva and Devaki would again love him as their dear child. Translation. Text 2. Lord Krishna, the greatest of Sattvatas, approached his parents with his elder brother, humbly bowing his head and gratifying them by respectfully addressing them as my dear mother and my dear father. Krishna spoke as follows. Translation. Lord Krishna said, Dear father, because of us, you, your two sons, you and Mother Devaki always remained in anxiety and could never enjoy our childhood, boyhood or youth. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Thakur discusses this verse as follows. One may object that at this point Lord Krishna had not actually passed the Kaishora stage, age 10 to 15. Since the woman of Mathura had stated, Kwa chati sukumaran go kishauro napta yovanao, Krishna and Balaram have very tender limbs, being still at the Kishore stage, not having reached adolescence. The definition of different stages of growing up is given as follows. The Kumar stage lasts until the age of 5, Pauganda up to the age 10 and Kishore to age 15. From then on, one knows as Yavana. According to this statement, the Kishore period ends at the age of 15. Krishna was only 11 years old when he killed Kamsa. According to Uddhava's word, Ekadasha Samastatra, like a covered flame, Lord Krishna remained there incognito with Balaram for 11 years. And since Krishna and Balaram never took Brahmanical initiation in Vrajbhumi, it was at that time of their going to Mathura that the Kishore stage began rather than ended. This objection to Lord Krishna's statement in the present verse that his parents could not enjoy his Kishore stage is based on ordinary measurement of age. Yet we should consider the following statement from Bhagavatam. O King Parishit, within a short time, Ram and Krishna began to walk very easily in Gokula on their legs by their own strength, without the need to crawl. Sometime we see that the son of king, even while in Pauganda stage of life, undergoes exceptional physical growth and exhibit activities appropriate to Kaishora. Then what to speak of Lord Krishna, whose exceptional growth is established in the Vaishnav Toshni, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anand Vrindavan Champu and other works. The 3 years and 4 months that Lord Krishna stayed in Mahavan were the equivalent of 5 years for an ordinary child. And thus, in that period, he completed his Kumar stage of childhood. The period from then to the age of 6 years and 8 months, during which he lived in Vrindavan, constitutes his Pauganda stage. And the period from the age of 6 years and 8 months through his 10 year during which he lived in Nandeshwar, Nandigram, constitutes his Kaishore stage. Then at the age of 10 years and 7 months, on the 11th lunar day of dark fortnight of the month of Chaitra, he went to Mathura, and on 14th day thereafter he killed Kamsa. Thus he completed his Kaishora period at age 10, and he eternally remains at this stage. In other words, we should understand that from this point on, the Lord remains forever a Kaishora. Thus Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur analyzed the intricacies of this verse. Translation: deprived by faith, we could not live with you and enjoy the pampered happiness most children enjoy in their parents' home. Purport: here Lord Krishna points out that not only did his parents suffer in separation from him and Balram, but the two boys also suffered in separation from their parents. Translation: with one body, one can acquire all goals of life. It is one's parents who give the body birth and sustenance. Therefore, no mortal man can repay his debt to his parents, even if he serves them for a full lifetime of 100 years. Purport: having stated, both you, our parents, and we have suffered because of our separation. Krishna now states that his and Balram's religious principles have been spoiled by the failure to satisfy their parents. Translation: a son who, though able to do so, fails to provide for his parents with his physical resources and wealth is forced after his death to eat his own flesh. Translation: a man who, though able to do so, fails to support his elderly parents, chaste wife, young child, or spiritual master, or who neglects a Brahmana or anyone who comes to him for shelter is considered dead, though breathing. Translation: thus we have wasted all these days, unable as we were to properly honor you, because our minds were always disturbed by fear of Kamsa. Purport: Lord Krishna continues to bring Vasudev and Devaki back to their normal parental feelings toward him and Balram. An ordinary child would be afraid of a cruel, tyrannical king like Kamsa, and Lord Krishna here plays the part of such a child, thus evoking the parental sympathy of Vasudev and Devaki. Translation: dear father and mother, please forgive us for not serving you. We are not independent and have been greatly frustrated by cruel Kamsa. Purport: according to Sanskrit grammar, the words Paratantroy and Klishtayo may also refers to Vasudev and Devaki. Actually, Vasudev and Devaki were under the control of Providence and were disturbed by the activities of Kamsa, whereas Shri Krishna is always the absolute personality of Godhead. Translation: Sukdev Goswami said, thus beguiled by the words of Lord Hari, the Supreme Soul of the universe, who by his internal illusory potency appeared to be human, his parents joyfully raised him up on their laps and embraced him. Translation: pouring out a shower of tears upon the Lord, his parents, who were bound up by the rope of affection, could not speak. They were overwhelmed, O king, and their throats choked up with tears. Thus, having comforted his mother and father, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing as a son of Devaki, installed his maternal grandfather, Ugrasen, as king of Yadus. Translation: the Lord told him, O mighty king, we are your subjects, so please command us. Indeed, because of the curse of Yati, no Yadu may sit on the royal throne. Purport: Ugrasen might have told the Lord, my dear Lord, it is actually you who should sit on the throne. Anticipating this statement, Lord Krishna told Ugrasen that because of Yati's ancient curse, princes in the Yadu dynasty could technically not sit on the royal throne, and therefore Krishna and Balaram were disqualified. Of course, Ugrasen also could be considered the part of Yadu dynasty, but by the order of Lord, he could sit on the royal throne. In conclusion, these were all pastimes. These were all the pastimes of Supreme Lord enjoyed as he played the part of a human being. Translation. Since I am present in your entourage as your personal attendant, all the demigods and other exalted personalities will come with heads bowed to offer you tribute. What then to speak of the rulers of men? Translation. The Lord then brought all his close family members and other relatives back from the various places to which they had fled in fear of Kamsa. He received Yadus, Vishnis, Andakas, Madhus, Dasharas, Kukuras, and other clans with due honor, and he also consoled them, for they were weary of living in foreign lands. The Lord Krishna, the creator of the universe, resettled them in their homes and gratified them with valuable gifts. The members of these clans, protected by arms of Lord Krishna and Lord Sankrishna, felt that all their desires were fulfilled. Thus they enjoyed perfect happiness while living at home with their families. Because of the presence of Krishna and Balram, they no longer suffered from the fever of material existence. Every day these loving devotees could see Mukunda's ever cheerful lotus face, which was decorated with beautiful, merciful, smiling glances. Even the most elderly inhabitants of the city appeared youthful, full of strength and vitality, for with their eyes they constantly drank the elixir of Lord Mukunda's lotus face. Translation. Then, O exalted Parikshit, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Devaki, along with Lord Balram, approached Nand Maharaj. The two lords embraced him and then addressed him as follows. Translation. Krishna Balram said, O Father, you and Mother Yashoda have affectionately maintained us and cared for us so much. Indeed, parents love their children more than their own lives. They are the real father and mother who care for, as they would their own sons, children abandoned by relatives unable to maintain and protect them. Translation. Now you should all return to Vraj. Dear father, we shall come to see you, our dear relatives who suffer in separation from us, as soon as we have given some happiness to your well-wishing friends. Purport. The Lord here indicates his desire to satisfy his dear devotees in Mathura, Vasudev, Devaki, and other members of Yadu dynasty, who so far long had been separated from him during his stay in Vrindavan. Translation. Thus consoling Nand Maharaj and other men of Vraj, the infallible Supreme Lord respectfully honored them with gifts of clothing, jewelry, household utensils, and so on. But translation. Nand Maharaj was overwhelmed with affection upon hearing Krishna's words, and his eyes brimmed with tears as he embraced the two lords. Then he went back to Vraj with the cowherd men. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written an extensive purport to this verse, elaborately analyzing this portion of Lord Krishna's pastime. Just as a man places his valuable gold within fire to reveal its purity, the Lord placed his most beloved devotees, the resident of Vrindavan, in the fire of separation from him in order to manifest their supreme love. This is the essence of Acharya Vishwanath comments. Translation. My dear king, when Vasudev, the son of Surashen, arranged for a priest and other Brahmanas to perform his two sons' second birth initiation, Vasudev honored these Brahmanas by worshipping them and giving them fine ornaments and well-ornamented cows with their calves. All these cows were gold necklaces and linen wreaths. Translation. The magnanimous Vasudev then remembered the cows he had mentally given away on the occasion of Krishna and Balram's birth. Kamsa had stolen these cows, and Vasudev now recovered them and gave them away in charity also. But what? At the time of Krishna's appearance, Vasudeva had been imprisoned by Kamsa, who had stolen all his cows. Still, Vasudeva had been so jubilant at the birth of Lord that he had mentally donated 10,000 of his cows to the Brahmanas. Now, upon Kamsa's death, Vasudeva took back all his cows from the late king's herd and gave 10,000 of them according to religious principles to the worthy Brahmanas. Translation. After attaining twice-born status through initiation, the lords, sincere in their vows, took further vow of celibacy from Garga Muni, the spiritual master of the Yadus. Purport. Both Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explain the term Gayatram Vritam, a vow of brahmacharya or celibacy in student life. Krishna and Balaram are playing the part of perfect students on the path of self-realization. Of course, in the modern degraded age, students' life has become a wild and animalistic affair filled with illicit sex and drugs. Translation. Concealing their innately perfect knowledge by their human-like activities, those two omniscient Lord of the universe, themselves the origin of all branches of knowledge, next desire to reside at the school of spiritual master. Thus they approached Sandipani Muni, a native of Kashi living in the city of Avanti. Translation. Sandipani thought very highly of these two self-controlled disciples, whom he had obtained so fortuitously by serving him as devotedly as one would serve the Supreme Lord himself. They showed others an irreproachable example of how to worship the spiritual master. Translation. The best of Brahmanas, the spiritual master Sandipani, was satisfied with their submissive behavior, and thus he taught them the entire Vedas together with their 6 corollaries and Upanishads. Translation. He also taught them the Dhanurved with its most confidential secrets, the standard books of law, the methods of logical reasoning and philosophical debate, and 6-fold science of politics. Purport. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that confidential portion of Dhanurved military science includes knowledge of appropriate mantras and presiding deities of warfare. Dharman refers to Manu Samhita and other standard books of Dharma Shastra. Nyaya Pathan refers to doctrine of Karma Mimamsa and other such theories. Anvikshkam is the knowledge of techniques of logical argument, Tarka. The 6-fold political science is quite pragmatic and includes Sandhi, making peace, Vigraha, war, Yana, marching, Asana, sitting tight, Dvaidha, dividing one's force, Samshaya, seeking protection of a more powerful ruler. Translation. O King, those best of persons, Krishna Balaram, being themselves the original promulgators of all varieties of knowledge, could immediately assimilate each and every subject after hearing it explained just once. Thus, with fixed concentration, they learned the 64 arts and skills in as many days as night. Thereafter, O King, they satisfied the spiritual master by offering him Guru Dakshana. Translation. O King, the learned Brahmana Sandipani carefully considered the two lords' glorious and amazing qualities and their superhuman intelligence. Then, after consulting with his wife, he chose as his remuneration the return of his young son who had died in the ocean at Prabhash. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the child was captured by conchal demon while playing at the Mahashiv Kshetra. Translation. So be it. They replied those two great charioteers of limitless might, and they at once mounted their chariot and set off for Prabhash. When they reached the place, they walked up to the shore and sat down. In a moment, the deity of the ocean, recognizing them to be the Supreme Lord, approached them with offerings of tribute. Purport. Western scholars sometimes think that reference in ancient books of wisdom to the deity of ocean, the deity of sun, so on, reveal a primitive mythical way of thinking. They sometimes say that primitive man think that the ocean is a god, the sun and moon are gods. In fact, reference such as word Sindhu in this verse, meaning the ocean, indicate the person who governs the aspects of physical nature. We can give several modern examples. In the modern United Nations, we may say the United States votes yes, the Soviet Union votes no. We hardly mean that physical countries or the buildings in them had voted. We mean that a particular person representing that political and geographical entity has voted. Yet the newspapers will simply say the United States voted, decided, etc. And everyone knows that what that means. Similarly, in business, we may say a large conglomerate has swallowed up a smaller firm. We hardly mean that the building, office equipment, and the like have physically swallowed another building full of workers and office equipment. We mean that empowered authorities have engaged in a particular act on behalf of their respective corporate entities. Unfortunately, modern scholars are eager to confirm their pet theories that ancient spiritual wisdom is primitive, mythic, and largely supplanted by more modern ways of thinking, exemplified by their own eloquent remarks. However, much in modern scholarship must be rethought in the light of Krishna consciousness. Translation. The Supreme Lord Krishna addressed the Lord of the ocean. Let the son of my Guru be presented at once. The one you seized here with your mighty waves. Translation. The ocean replied, O Lord Krishna, it was not I who adopted him, but a demonic descendant of Deity named Panchajanya, who travels in the water in the form of conch. Clearly, the demon Panchajanya was too powerful for the ocean to control, otherwise the ocean would have prevented such an unlawful act. Translation. Indeed, the ocean said, the demon has taken him away. Hearing this, Lord Krishna entered the ocean, found Panchajanya and killed him. But Lord did not find the boy within the demon's belly. Translation. Lord Janardhan took the conch shell and that had grown around the demon's body and went back to the chariot. Then he proceeded to the Samyamani, the beloved capital of Yamraj, the Lord of Death. Upon arriving there with Lord Balram, he loudly blew his conch shell, and Yamraj, who keeps the conditioned soul in check, came as soon as he heard the resounding vibration. Yamraj elaborately worshipped the two lords with great devotion, and then he addressed Lord Krishna, who lives in everyone's heart. O Supreme Lord Vishnu, what shall I do for you and Lord Balram, who are playing the part of ordinary humans? Purport. The conch shell the Lord took from Panchajanya, which is called Panchajanya, is the same one he sounded at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. According to Acharyas, Panchajanya had become a demon in a very similar to that of Jai and Vijay. In other words, though appearing in the form of demon, he was actually a devotee of Lord. Skanda Puran Avanti Khand describes the wonderful things that happened when Lord Krishna sounded his conch shell. The hell known as Asipatra Vana lost the sharp sword-like leaves on his trees, and the hell named Raurava
Madhuvani Puaga.